Hey y'all, it's Jennifer again. Oh, and as I have mentioned in a couple of my videos that I've recently posted, I have gotten into junk journaling. And one of my favorite aspects of junk journaling is that you can dye paper. And these are some papers that I've dyed, and I'm just going to flip through them really quickly and tell you what I use. Now, there are so many videos on YouTube about dyeing paper for junk journaling and scrapbooking. And so, unless y'all ask me to, I'm not going to give you a tutorial on how to do it, except for a few of these that are kind of methods that I haven't seen anybody use, like this one, for instance. This is using acrylic paint, and actually I believe this is acrylic paint that I had watered down and sprayed, and I sprayed it on top of a stencil that I had, and I was really happy with how that came out. And I believe that the underside was done with hibiscus. And yes, hibiscus does turn blue when you dye it, and this is just some of the results I got. I believe these were, if I recall correctly, I did these with avocado. And again, and with these, I put the stencils on top of them while they were still wet. And if you can see that my camera is not the best, and I don't have great lighting yet, but they're very faint stencils on this one. I don't know if you can see those or not. But I was actually pretty happy with these as well. Now, I've also done coffee and tea dye, and I think that's what these are, but I had also kind of sprinkled in a little bit of, I think I'd put in just a little bit of paint, fabric paint. This is my favorite method of dyeing paper. This is red cabbage, and look at the beautiful color that you get from red cabbage. It's so pretty, and it takes the stencils so well. Again, you put these on the stencils on top while it's still wet, and this is the method that I might do a video on, where I basically use sprayable fabric paint and a garbage bag to make these gorgeous kind of, you know, paper colors and textures, and I absolutely love these. I'm so happy with them. And these I did with, I think it was a combination of RIT dye and maybe some hibiscus powder or something. I can't remember exactly, but I dyed some book pages as well. And I believe this would, these might have been, you know, I honestly can't remember how I did these, y'all. How sad is that? They may have been done with fabric dye, now that I think about it. I may have done like I may have done an initial red cabbage dye and then did something with, or maybe I squirted some fabric dye on top of it then. I'm not positive. But again, I did some book pages. These were, I think these were, no, these were hibiscus dye. And again, somehow these took, actually I think these were actually a weaker cabbage dye, but I can't remember. The other, the spraying on the acrylic paint method again over stencils, and also the garbage bag technique that I used with, these were some acrylic paints that I had watered down. And I really love how some of these came out. And there's some more of those. And more cabbage dye. Again, cabbage dye has been my favorite so far. You just boil it down and just throw the paper in the water or let it dry after you throw some stencils on top, and it just turns out beautifully. I absolutely, actually, you know what? Yeah, I think this is cabbage dye, yeah. And these right here, because these are so dark because I use RIT dye. Fabric dye is wonderful for dyeing paper. And again, the spray, and these I had first tried to dye with spirulina powder, which is why you get some of that funky green in there. The spirulina powder, it kind of works, but it doesn't work very well. So I wouldn't recommend that. And these were also with Rit dye. This is some parchment paper I dyed with Rit dye, and I really liked how that came out. And then I actually had put a doily, a paper doily over this one. And it kind of took a little bit of the pattern. But anyway, that's one of my favorite parts of junk journaling, is the ability to dye your paper and just play with it and try different things. And oh, I just love it. And the thing, and junk journaling is also very forgiving, as you will see. And this is the first one that I've started. I'm nowhere near finished with it. I had decided that this was going to be my experimental journal, and I did leave a lot of writing space in there, and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have a particular subject for it or what. But for now, I'm just kind of playing around with different techniques. And I did start another project, so I kind of put this one on the back burner, and I'll show y'all that one in another video. But this is just me having fun and playing with new techniques. And what this is an old sketchbook that I had for about 20 years. I had done practically nothing with it. I had a few pages written in there, but I just tore them out and have been playing with it as a junk journal since then. I had never used it for anything else, so I decided this would be the perfect one to start with. And I covered it. I covered the cover with some fabric I had on hand. I also added some fabric to some tea-dyed muslin. Added some fabric to the spine. This is some tea-dyed muslin that I had for years, and then some fabric on the back. And this is a cross stitch that I did many years ago. And then I distressed some little strips of an old dictionary that was falling apart to make this. And you see how beautiful my desk is. I mean, it's a horrific mess, but you know, it's a creative mess, so it's okay. And it's kind of organized, kind of. Okay. So anyway, this is the old cross stitch I did years ago, and so I'm just going to do a really quick flip through. I'm not going to spend a lot of time telling you what I did or how I did it or anything like that. I'm just going to do a flip through, and if you have any questions, then please comment below, like, subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll be happy to address them. Okay, so on my inside cover, I covered the inside with paper here, and then this is a mandala coloring page that I had done, and I just cut it out. And I've got a lot of washi stickers and pictures from old magazines that I had found, and old pieces of notebook paper. This is naturally aged. This is some composition book paper that I'd had for time out of mind that just naturally yellowed, and just a bunch of little embellishments on there. I leave a lot of writing space in my junk journals because I am a writer by nature, and I love to write, and if I'm going to do a journal, there's going to be writing space. But these are just like little spreads that I was playing with, and again, you know, I hope you like them. If you have any comments, just let me know. And I was so proud of this. This is a little curtain with a little hidden area. And these are some of the first ones that I did. And this is a little celestial motif here that and these are actually some entries from a Forgotten English daily calendar that I had, one of the tearaway calendars that I just cut out some of my favorite words and definitions and glued them down and left some writing space for reflection or whatever. And this is the little library pocket thing that I had shown you that I got at Ollie's, and that and it didn't turn out as great as I would have liked, but you know, it's there. And again, magazine pages. And this is some of that napkin, one of the napkins I got at Ollie's as well. Some of the stickers. And this is going, y'all, this one's chunky. It's so chunky. And this was an experiment that I did. It's a little panel that you can flip out, and it's got like this just a little collage here, a little bit of writing space. And I actually made a pocket out of this, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to put in it yet, but I will eventually. And I did just kind of attach this with washi tape and decoupage the front, and some washi tape again, stickers, writing space. And this was I really like this spread because it's all purple and celestial. And this is from an old card that I had gotten, that I held on to when I worked for the card company as a merchandiser, and they wanted to throw it away. I just cut a little bit of that out and made that little border. And here are these gorgeous little butterfly stickers from the Dollar Tree. And I didn't notice until after I made that video that this set that was more multicolored, they actually have a little bit of celestial background, which just made them perfect for me. And then we have dear old Medusa here, and some more celestial stuff, more writing space. And here I have a pocket that is, I think is will still open. Yeah, there's just a little quick pocket, and this is just some stenciling I did, and random stuff like that. Another coloring page of a mandala. I believe this was from either a magazine or a book, this background. And these are some Tim Holtz die cuts that I got. And I don't use a lot of Tim Holtz stuff because I think it's overpriced. But anyway, and this was an experiment. This is a signature I made. This is the first signature I made, I think. And this is a folder. This is actually a file folder that I got on clearance at Walmart. And I just made a little signature out of it and kind of decorated it. Put some pretty pages in there, and gave myself some lines, because again, I some people can write on unlined paper. I cannot, and keep it straight. I like lines. And then you just got some little bits of scrap that I threw in there, and this is actually paper from an old notebook that I tore apart. And a little stamp that I had, and this nice little sticker collage spread for the middle. And you know, it's just, and the way I did this one was I used some of those little Velcro buttons and stuck them here and stuck them here. So if I want to take this out to write something in it and then put it back, I can do that. And then, let me see here, and here's another spread. It's just simple stuff, a little bit of fabric there. I believe this was from one of the Cezanne book I had. Is this Cezanne? That might be Van Gogh. I can't remember. But I'm not an art expert, so please correct me if I'm wrong on that. This one's so chunky because I'm just gluing extra pages on top of it. I'm going to try to do a few pages where I just kind of stencil on it. Actually, I tried to do that with this one, and these are some stencils I did. And you guys, I love doing stencils with stamp ink. It's so pretty. It's so easy to blend, and look how beautiful it looks. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, and my next page, again, and I did a little tag here. It's not removable. I just wanted to try that shape. And the doily that I had dyed, and this is some more paper that I had dyed. I believe this was a happy accident. And I really like this page. This is one of my favorites, actually. I think some of the music notes that I had dyed. And this gorgeous mountain scene over here, and the kind of the starry scene up there. I loved it. And another little butterfly. And okay, and yeah, that's it. Okay. And this was kind of, and that's just the page I did. This is from one of the antiques collectibles books for pottery that I had. And look how pretty that picture is. that piece of pottery is so pretty and interesting, and I just put that there. And here's another Velcro thing that I did, but this one you can take it all the way out, and there's just a little, I love this, a mistress piece, a feminine masterpiece. Heck yeah. I put my little Velcro dots here, and you can put it down. But I wanted one where I could just leave it in and kind of flip it down, and that's what this experiment was. Again, lined paper, and all this one is lined paper. And I didn't do such a great job with the lines, but this is a trick that I learned from Treasure Books. Natasha, if you have, I will link her channel down below, but if you have not watched Treasure Books, you absolutely need to. Natasha is wonderful. She has brilliant ideas. And what this is you rip up some corrugated cardboard. Let me show you. You rip the first layer off of corrugated cardboard, and you end up with these lines, and you just put some stamp ink over those lines and press your paper down, and automatic, vintagey, not perfect lines. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look how cool that is. And again, I did a little stencil on the inside there, and that one again is Velcroed. Okay, and then here's some basic spreads with a little bit of writing space, a lot of writing space. The girl with the pearl earring, some blue period Picasso, more butterflies and flowers. Some of these I just kind of went random. Okay, and here's another page with a pocket that I did. This is a stencil, this little kind of wood peeling paint kind of aesthetic. I love this one, and I just put another one over it. It's one of my favorite stencils. I use it a lot. And then I also had a signature that I think this was my first signature that I made. And this is another little signature that I did that I could pull out, and it's got a bunch of different materials in there, lined paper, pictures, things like that. And I was pretty happy with that. And there's a little sloth. Had to have the little sloth right there hidden. He's like, hello. Okay, and this is a doily. And then I put a little piece of, I had actually some die cuts that my mom gave me that I would probably have not, the front is kind of cute, but it's not really my style. So it was supposed to look like a little purse, and it had a little handle. And so I just cut the little handles off and put this perfect circle that fit absolutely perfectly in this doily. I was so happy with it. And this is one of the antiquarian stickers. They're so weird and wonderful. I love it. Okay, and I think this is my favorite page of all of them. I don't know why, but it just looks so pretty to me. I don't know how I managed this, but I put a few pieces of poetry in here. These are both Robert Herrick. I'm going to try to do more of these. I need to get some more Nortons that I already have for really cheap, and kind of use those. And these are some of the little, they look like photo corners, but they're stickers that I got at the Dollar Tree. And a few more little stickers I had gotten at the Dollar Tree, the little feathers. And I did this one, this is the Dollar Tree page apparently. But these are the little feather stencils I got there as well. And I absolutely love how they turned out with the gradients there with the stamp ink. I love it. And then this was my first attempt at a tag. And I do have a sewing machine. But it's an old one, and it's kind of bulky. It was my mom's that she gave it to me. And I preferred to save it for fabric. And I want to get a small sewing machine, like one of those mini ones, just for paper craft. But the way I did this right here was I got a leather, let me see if I have it over here. Yeah, I got one. This is a leather perforating tool. It's got really sharp little spikes on the wheel. I just lined it up against the ruler and punched the little holes, and just used some embroidery floss that I had dyed and just stitched a straight line around it. And I was really happy with the result of that. I haven't done it again since then because it was a little bit hard on my hands and it took forever. And I'm kind of waiting to get a mini sewing machine. But I'm actually kind of happy with how this little tag turned out. The little tail isn't perfect, but a little dragonfly bead I had gotten at Michael's a while ago, and I just think it's so pretty. And I did use some of my beading supplies for this. So, and then there's the little pocket. This is the little pocket that I had made out of the patty parchment papers that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm really happy with how that turned out, actually. And then this is just a random page with random stuff. And is this one? Okay, yeah, that's just one page. And I've got stuff in between here. Okay, and I actually really like this spread too. It's a little bit busy, but I love this page that I did with the fabric paint and stencils. It looks so pretty to me, and I used part of one of the the paper doilies that I had dyed, and I just love this page. And then I've got the crazy siren sticker from the antiquarian book. And then this is actually a piece of copy paper that I'd had for years that kind of just has this little tree detail on the side. And I think I tried to dye this. No, I don't think I dyed this one. I think it's just plain. I didn't do anything with that. And then the little mountain range. This was my nature my nature page. And I'm actually quite happy. I love this spread, actually, and a little bit of fabric down there. And I think, yeah, that's the last one. I haven't worked on this one in a while because I had started my other project, which I will show you in another video. It's actually a planner, a junk journal planner that I'm making out of a 1997 planner that I have had for that long. I've been the only owner of it, and it's hard bound and it's really nice, and I just could not throw it away. And so finally I have a use for it, and I will show you how I use it. Okay, so in the meantime, I really hope you enjoyed this flip through. I'm sorry I chatter too much. I don't do ASMR. I'm sorry, because I don't get it, and I don't get ASMR, not that I'm aware of yet anyway. But if you have any questions about how I did things, if you have any comments, anything, let me know. By all means, send me a message. If you want to order some skincare, which I still do, I will link my Facebook page down below for Your Weird Aunt. And I sincerely hope that you have an excellent day.